Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to my unboxing and review of the Netgear Nighthawk XR500 router. The unboxing part is going to be very brief and first, then I'm going to plug this thing in, configure it, and use it for almost a week. So in about 2 minutes, I shall return to this video with different clothes, hair that's actually been washed, and probably new audio because I'm investing in that. But let's go ahead and get into the unboxing. If you're unfamiliar, this is generally considered the world's best gaming router. Top tier, it's Nighthawk branded, and this one in particular is a Nighthawk that's been given Duma software. So it's got the best software and the best hardware on the market, but we're gonna do a review and a test. That's just how most people would understand it. Now let me see if I can open this box up. Where does it actually open at is a good question. It opens like a loot crate or something. You open it from the bottom and you pull it up like this. Now I feel really stupid. I'm supposed to review a technical product and I can't unbox it. So the router itself, as you can see, is very big. I'm gonna go ahead and put the antennas down. We have some documentation and support. Let's go ahead and get a nice, beautiful shot of this. There we go. That is a big, big boy right there. Go ahead and peel the plastic off. Oh yeah. There we go. How are we looking? This is already way more complicated than the Duma R1. I'm going to take a look at the front. Looks like we have a variety of lights on the front. Power, signal, USB functions, Ethernet functions. One button Wi-Fi on and off and WPS. We have, oddly, two USB 3 ports on the side, if you can see those. Not quite sure what they're for yet because I haven't used it. We have we have several antenna ports around the side of the device. And we also have mini ports on the back. We have an Ethernet in, then we have 4 little LAN switches. Oh, we have a nice little LED on off, and of course antenna ports, which I think these are just little, yeah, these are just little plugs on top. So you can just take that off and that's where we'll be screwing the antennas on. Power, pretty standard, kind of big looking. Inside the box, we were given instructions. 1 set of antennas, 2 set, 4 antennas, and the AC power, and the, oh, that's actually a very, wow, hold up, take a look at this. I actually used metal on the side instead of cheapo plastic. You can't see it on camera, but this is a really heavy cable. They gave you like a really premium Ethernet cable for whatever reason. I can't imagine it would matter for home use, but it's a premium brand. So let's take a second to put it all together and then see how it looks. So the cat's finally out of the bag and fully assembled. It's a very big device again compared to the size of my hand, and I'm a 6 foot tall dude and I have normal non-Trump size hands, so this is pretty good fit here. It's a big, it definitely screams gaming device. It kind of looks like an enormous drone, like it's getting ready to fly away with all the antennas, and it even looks like it has just jets on the back like rocket boost. It almost looks like like a sports car or something. But looks aside, we should definitely have excellent antenna coverage, and I'm going to go plug this bad girl in and give it a test for probably 3 to 4 days, maybe a week, and then we'll come back for the second part of the video. So you may have noticed that we didn't go back to the table for the actual review part of the review. That's because the table's completely covered in giveaway items and is just completely unusable, and I have no idea where to put all that stuff now that it's in boxes and somehow takes up even more space. So we're doing it here with gameplay, which I think most of you will enjoy, and I wanted to get it out of the way that I am not sponsored by Netgear at all. I have no business or working relationship with them. I am sponsored by Duma for promotion of the R1 router, but not the Duma OS in any capacity. I do want to be clear that I was sent the XR500 for free, so I got a free gift from Netgear in exchange for doing a review, but there was no payment, there were no review guidelines. I am not beholden to anyone or anything. I did, however, include an Amazon referral link down there. If you do end up wanting to buy this product, or if you just want to check it out, you can click that little Amazon link, and I think they pay me like 2% commission or something. So that, I guess, is monetizable. And moving into the review, it's mostly positive. It's a really good product, but there are 2 major drawbacks that I do not like that we'll talk about. It shouldn't be surprising that something that is trying to be the #1 router in the world has astonishingly good hardware. It has a dual-core 1.7 gigahertz processor, it's got tons of RAM, there are 5 1 gigabit Ethernet ports, there is Wi-Fi in, I actually had to write this down, A, B, G, N, and AC. On top of that, you can have 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi or 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, which is much faster. You get much better transfer rates, less delay, that sort of thing. Or this one will do dual band Wi-Fi and broadcast both at the same time through one device. And if you want to, you can actually have the same password and login and let it automatically choose which is best for your device, because older devices don't support 5 gigahertz. This is a really good feature, but it's actually one of the bigger problems with the device, which I'll talk about later. There's 4 massive antennas on the side, which you saw during the review process, and they also decided to add several extra 5 gigahertz channels so that you can just, I think there's 15 extra channels, so there's gonna be some channel you can go to somewhere to completely avoid any 5 gigahertz interference. Also, you've got 2 USB ports on the side. Those are for setting up media servers, like if you want to plug up some sort of a media player or giant storage device or something like that in your house, you can run it off the USB 3 ports, and there's 2 of them, so you can do quite a lot. The final verdict on the hardware part of this product is it's mega overkill on almost everything. It is basically the beefiest router you can buy that's still at a consumer level. Now, if you want to go up in notches, you can get into industrial or educational or like governmental, like making servers and just like crazy stuff like that. But for home use, it really doesn't get any more powerful than the Nighthawk, which is good if you like quality. It may be a little bit wasteful if it's something you don't need, though. If you don't really need all that power, it may not be most optimal for your money or whatever. My experience with this, however, has been very positive, minus 2 hiccups, which we'll get to later. My Ethernet speeds on my PC and PlayStation, obviously unchanged. I mean, it's Ethernet. That doesn't really get much better or worse between devices. However, my Wi-Fi connection and signal strength have significantly improved for all household devices. The way I have my house set up, the router is actually in a corner behind me over here, just behind the green. Actually, is it? I think we can almost see it. Hold up. I'm going to take down the green screen for just a moment and see if we can literally see it. Yeah, you should be able to just barely see it in the corner, beeping, blooping with lights, but that's the very corner of my house. Most of the rest of the house is this way, like behind the camera. Let's go back into the game! I love this. Elgato green screen, so fun. And before, with the Duma R1, it had enough signal strength to reach every device. However, there were some devices that were not getting 4 bars, and there were some devices that were definitely not hitting the maximum speed that the internet at my house can provide. The opposite is true with the Nighthawk. I have 4 or 5 bars. I have maximum bars, whatever number of bars they want to use. I've got maximum all over the house. I've got better coverage outside the house. And generally speaking, the speeds are a little bit faster, which surprised me. I didn't think it would make that much difference. And also the real-time network monitoring is nice to have, which the old NetDuma had, but it lagged a little bit. It was a little janky. It struggled on the RAM. So having that extra RAM to do truly real-time network monitoring helped me troubleshoot a few problems that we had. There's 3 hardware drawbacks that I can think of offhand. Number 1, it's a petty complaint. This router's big. It's like really big. It's bigger than my head. I had to get a slightly different stand to put it on. I had to change that a little bit. The other one is that there's only 4 Ethernet ports. You've got your internet in and then 4 ports for internet out. And that's it. For such an expensive, big, fancy device, I was really hoping for 6, for 7, or for 8. And I do know of some people that I've contacted personally that just reached out when they saw that I got this and I tweeted about it, and some stuff that I read online. There are people that went out and bought additional switches or splitters or whatever to get more Ethernet devices because they wanted more Ethernet connections and less Wi-Fi. The other one is that I did have some issues with the dual band Wi-Fi, and this kind of bridges the gap between hardware-software part of this review. The dual band Wi-Fi is supposed to broadcast in 2.4 and in 5 gigahertz, and it's supposed to identify old and new devices and which device will work best with which one. I have had mixed results with that. The vast majority of my devices have worked properly. However, my wife's computer did not. So my wife's computer is very far away over this way. And she uses Wi-Fi for her internet, even on her PC, right? And we got her like I think it's like a 2.4 and 5 gigahertz dual band receiver thing. We just bought it on Amazon, right? And that one's also supposed to intelligently pick which signal you're getting. So between the XR500 trying to intelligently pick a signal and her computer trying to intelligently pick a signal, what it ended up doing is swapping, just rapidly cycling, and my wife had no internet. So that was a problem. After we figured out what was wrong, we just set it in, I think we just set it in like 2.4 gigahertz mode because it's a little further away, get a little better like that. And it worked great ever since. And there was like an older TV we have that it's like barely a smart TV. It's like an average intelligence TV. It's really old. That one did have some problems connecting as well. So I think if you have a lot of older devices, you may find some issues with the dual band Wi-Fi. It may be simpler to just put it in single band. But now let's move to software. I'm going to go over these a little bit faster because they overlap with my old NetDuma reviews since we're running the NetDuma software. I did like a whole full, amazingly huge review of the NetDuma software down there below if you want to see that. When you first open up the Netgear Nighthawk, you're going to be taken to the Duma OS page, and I've actually got all these screenshots, so you'll see me looking over to the side. It's got just a ton of stuff on it, from your internet status, guest wireless, network monitor. It's just sort of a home page where you can pin and do whatever you want on there. The thing that's going to help most of you, which was the biggest and most useful part of the old NetDuma, is the geofilter. The geofilter, in short, allows you to block connections based on their region. And what this helps with gaming is you can see where I've got my circle. I set mine to North America only. I don't mess with South America. I don't screw with Alaska. I don't connect to people in Europe or Africa or Asia. I play North American connections, and that helps my connection a lot. And I've done crazier things. I've made it the size of Texas once, which got me amazing connections, but matchmaking took a long time. There's like some manual accept, reject, and other parameters you can put it in, but the most essential thing is you can block foreign connections from connecting to your computer. It's got the same old buffer bloat, traffic priority, bandwidth sharing, and stuff that you've seen in the old NetDuma. On top of that, there's a really nice traffic priority setting where you can do hyper traffic for certain devices. Basically, it recognizes that a game is being played and gives that priority traffic so that hopefully you don't drop any packets. Sort of a 1, 2, 3 combo here is that when you start setting up your devices, there's a network map that shows you what device is connected through what type of connection or signal, and you can use that to label these devices to give them specific colors and parameters so that when you start doing custom settings or using the network monitor that shows you how much bandwidth each thing is using, or you want to, there's actually a traffic meter and analytics. You can literally log data and like export big data files to analyze what your traffic is doing and do a lot of really complicated network engineer stuff that's completely useless for me, but it's neat. And I actually use the network monitor to diagnose some of the problems, and that's how I figured out my wife's PC was going crazy, because I could watch it spike in bandwidth on and off, and then I actually watched it connect and disconnect rapidly on the network map, so that helped us figure that out. There is a guest network you can set up for your Wi-Fi, so not only can you run dual band, but at the same time you can run dual band guest network, which is kind of like if you go to a coffee shop or Starbucks to have some guest network, or an airport to sign into. You can set up your own little guest network if you're running a small business, or if you just don't want people on your home Wi-Fi. Good for you, works fine like that. There's a media server setup option, which we talked about earlier with the USB devices. I don't use that, so I have no ability to expert or offer any opinions on it. There's a pretty complex list of sites that you can block, keywords you can block, services you can block. You can set specific timeouts, time ins, bandwidth limits. You can use this pretty much to keep your kids off of those dirty sites on the internet, or to punish somebody that's on Netflix too much. That's really more of a parental control. I don't think a whole lot of normal people will use this, but you can do that. And finally, the old NetDuma VPN service. So this one's really neat. You can sign into your VPN through the router if you want to, and then you can apply that VPN to specific devices or your whole home, like so that any device connects, or sometimes to specific services. So that's kind of neat, but that's really advanced for security. There is one piece of this software I don't like. The software overall is very positive, but I don't like the port forwarding. The port forwarding on the old NetDuma operating system was easier, faster, and more intuitive. This one has a couple of other steps, and it wasn't quite as obvious for me how to set it up and use it. I much prefer the old one. This one's still usable. It has all the same features. You can do the same things. It's just a little harder to do. And finally, at the end of the review, let's talk about if this is worth your money or not. Should you buy this as a Christmas present for you or your family or children? So you should buy this device if You live in a really big house and your Wi-Fi sucks. Like if you've just got a big nice house or really thick walls or something and you're not getting good connections right now, this will probably fix the problem. Or if you have a metric ton of people in your house constantly sucking down bandwidth by uploading 800 selfies to Facebook while also streaming Netflix on 4 different devices because they've all got ADD and they're blowing up your gaming, this will help a lot. You can do a lot of different stuff to sort of prevent that from affecting your gaming whatsoever. It's good gaming-wise if you want to control your connections, if you want to block out-of-country people from connecting, if you want to do certain ping filtering, if you want a lot more control over your game connections, very, very nice. And finally, if you're a hardcore gamer, PC guy, IT nerd, network engineer, somebody that likes really advanced stuff, yeah, great for you. You'll love this thing. The answer is no on this device. You should not buy this device if you live alone and control your home internet. Like if you live alone in an apartment and it's just you and nobody else and you've got a direct Wi-Fi to your PlayStation, not a really significant benefit to you. I would say no. If you don't need Wi-Fi at all, some people hate Wi-Fi. Some people just run all Ethernet. Probably don't need it. And if you're a casual gamer, if you're a really casual gamer, these things aren't going to make much difference to you. If you're a hardcore guy, yes, you'll love it. But if you just log on like once or twice a week to play and you don't really care what's going on connection-wise, just so long as you get in a lobby, this device has no use or meaning for you. And guys, that is my overall review. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. If you did, there's a shameless commission link down there in the description. Go straight to Amazon referral program. Or if not, you can just like the video or leave a nice comment. Drifter out.